Today we are taking the Miltech and Maryadi MV-22 Osprey up for a COD flight to the USS America Amphibious Readiness Group. Currently they are sailing west off the coast of Vandenberg Air Force Base, about 300 miles north of us. We are in sunny San Diego using live weather and traffic at North Island Naval Air Station. This is where the C2 Squadron VRC-30, the Providers, is based out of, and also where VRM-30, the Titans, a new Osprey-based fleet logistics squadron, is based out of. I just picked up this aircraft yesterday and it came in a bundle on the Microsoft Flight Sim store that included the Readiness group, so I wanted to take a flight up there and show off the Osprey as well as share my initial thoughts and impressions on this unique aircraft. So in the center control display unit you've got various pages to manipulate some of the features of the aircraft. I've got the nacelles rotated vertically now, and this is where you go to remove the various covers around the aircraft before starting up. Once I verify they're clear, we'll go ahead and get the engine started up. A cool thing about the Osprey is the left and right prop rotors are linked together so that one engine can power both sides in emergencies, and you definitely notice that feature as you start up your single engine and see both spinning thanks to the great visibility of this cockpit. After a short taxi, it's time to take off of runway 29 at North Island. Right now the nacelles are at 89 degrees and I'm going to take them down to 75 degrees for a short field takeoff run. Once we get down over San Diego Bay, we'll turn left to follow the channel out into the ocean and we'll fly past Point Loma, which will be on our right hand side. The most fun part about this aircraft for me is managing the transitions. I'm falling in love with trying to maintain the attitude and the altitude while dropping the nacelles back into their plane mode configuration. And then you feel the acceleration as it happens, and it's a lot of fun. In helicopters, you cyclic down to build that speed up after you take off, and then as you get faster you can return some of the cyclic because you're reducing the collective a little bit just as you become more efficient in flying. And this is just completely different. You accelerate so tremendously while keeping the pitch level pretty much the same. It's like flying the Harrier, but you're in a prop rotor aircraft. It's pretty cool. So right below us is Point Loma Submarine Base, one of many Navy bases here in San Diego, and as we level off from our left-hand turn, we'll also see Fort Rosecrans National Cemetery up on top of Point Loma to our right, and we'll finish dropping the nacelles into their airplane mode as we pass it. This haze is pretty typical in the mornings down here when the marine layer moves in from the early hours off the ocean, and eventually it gets cooked off by this very bright sun we've got going on today. I imagine by the time we get up to the USS America it'll be really clear out, but until then let's enjoy some of the views despite that haze. We're about 80 miles from our destination now and just southwest of San Miguel Island, which is off our nose there to the right. We're going to quickly test out the fuel probe and extend it out. The probe is extended via the stat page on the CDU, and while this probe can extend and retract, it doesn't really work beyond that. Hopefully one day we get some aerial refueling capabilities in the sim. It's definitely a challenge in sims like DCS, so I think it's one of those milestones where you really feel like you accomplish something when you get it done for the first time. And I think a lot of people that fly in MSFS kind of miss out if they never jump into DCS. We just stowed the probe and now we'll look at the rear ramp. I've got it in manual mode, and I believe if you put it in auto it will open in various ways throughout the flight and ground portions of your sortie. Instead of the ramp being fully open, I believe in auto it opens into a level position to facilitate taxiing with the rear area open. But for now we'll just have this in manual and we'll take a look at the detailing of the interior from the rear side of the aircraft. Alright, we are safely aboard the USS America, and this was my first time landing on a moving ship in Microsoft Flight Sim. I'm actually pretty surprised at how well the parking brake holds the aircraft to the ship, to be honest. I wasn't too far off the mark where I was trying to land on, so that's a win. But I did find I was fighting my muscle memory after all the hours of flying the HIP in DCS. Regardless, we made it down, and this ship is very detailed. I really enjoy it. And the surrounding vessels are also very detailed. With us in formation is the USS San Antonio, the submarine the USS Virginia, and the Lewis B. Puller on the right side of our ship here. A cool feature of the Osprey is how it folds up to stow so that it can fit in cramped environments like this, and the devs did a great job at modeling this with the animations. We've got the engines shut down now, so we'll fold it up and get it ready to park. While we get the wings and prop rotors stowed, let's talk about the first impressions I've got. So far I've spent probably 3-4 hours with this add-on, and I've noticed a few issues right off the bat. I get pretty consistently a crash to desktop when I'm flying this add-on for over 30 minutes or so. Every flight to a destination that is like an hour away has resulted in a crash to desktop, including this one, I unfortunately must say. The flight model of the takeoff phase and the landing phase, when you've got the aircraft configured for VTOL, doesn't feel quite right. It's extremely sensitive to minute throttle changes. You don't really feel inertia acting on the aircraft as you try to get it moving or get it slowed down again. And when I watch videos of real Ospreys flying around, you really get a sense of that weight being thrown around in their movements that you don't seem to get here in the sim. I do hope in the future the fidelity will increase as the sim matures, and overall, I really have been enjoying my time with it so far despite those shortcomings. Like I said earlier, it is very fun trying to manage the transitions and then getting to enjoy the acceleration and the faster cruise speeds you can get over helicopters is very cool, and to experience that in a flight sim has been really enjoyable. One feature that comes with the Amphibious Readiness group is the ability to have you taxi into tight spaces using a taxi assist. This is excellent and seems to simulate the tractors that would tow aircraft into small, cramped spaces on deck. It's simple to use and very intuitive, and all you have to do really is to make sure your engine's off. And then you turn off the parking brake when you want to move forward or backwards, and you put it back on after you're done to prevent you from sliding around. And just like that, we are all parked and stowed on board. I am looking forward to flying this some more when I get some time. And if there's any other aircraft that you want to see in Microsoft Flight Sim, let me know and I'll think about getting it. Or if I already have it in my hangar, I'll take it out for a spin. I mostly enjoy GA aircraft and helicopters, obviously, as well as some military jets. And before we go, my question to all of you guys is, does my audience fly in Microsoft Flight Sim at all, or are you all strictly combat focused on DCS? If you do, are there some things you enjoy in Microsoft Flight Sim that you want to see in DCS or vice versa? I know with combat they're never probably ever going to do that in Microsoft Flight Sim, but there are some things that can be worked on in Microsoft Flight Sim for the high AOA stuff. It doesn't seem quite right, and that's mostly why I don't like flying jets in Microsoft Flight Sim. But let me know what you think, and I'll look forward to reading them. Thank you. Bye.